don't know my room.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's a little late, sorry. I did not know they changed the Wi-Fi here, and I was gonna have to go scramble for a new picture. So we're starting a little bit late, 3 or 4. We are live streaming, audio recording, if that's an issue. The door's over there. We'll go from there. So we'll call this to order. I do want to start by briefly just mentioning the loss and acknowledging the amount of work that was done by a pillar of this community in passing Larry Scott this week. He was a huge supporter of this community, and he loved trails. He believed in the interconnectedness of this community and believed that the trails represented that. We will talk a little bit more about that when we get to trails, but there was a previously scheduled simple ribbon cutting on the morning of the 4th at the corner of Walker and Oak Bay Road to open the last section of the Oak Bay Trail, which connects north to south, and was going to be his final jewel in the crown before he retired this October. We will still be doing that, but it's obviously morphing into more of a memorial and recognition of Larry and his accomplishments. So 9 a.m. if you can be there, should be a good one. Okay, we are going to start with stakeholders, and I told Chief he can go first, so come on up, Chief. A lot of pressure. I know, right? Well, I meant to tell you.
You meant to tell me.
Maybe I didn't tell you. I didn't forget,
Okay, thank you, and can you guys hear me okay? Current events with East Jefferson Fire Rescue. We just published our annual report, which is available on our website. I'll leave a copy to share if anybody wants to peruse it today. We're really excited about some of the stats and some of the information that we're sharing. Current events in the district. We just had a very important promotion because of the vacancy of my deputy fire chief. He is retiring in a couple weeks. We're excited, retiring healthy, and but that leaves a vacancy. So we are promoting, as of today, his first day, Battalion Chief Jason McDonald to Deputy Fire Chief. And it's kind of the same thing in the Sheriff's Office, where Andy's the sheriff, and then we have the undersheriff, and who's in the audience here. We're supposed to be interchangeable. So if I'm on vacation, the world doesn't fall apart, which doesn't really happen anyways, because there's great firefighters. Jason's a great guy. If you don't know him, he is a Port Ludlow resident, just like me. He was right down the street, so Port Ludlow's taken over.
Okay.
Yeah. He's also county native and career firefighter family. His dad was a firefighter in Port Townsend back in the day. So we're really excited about that as well. Other current events, we have 2 new fire engines that are going to be final inspected next week in South Dakota, and then they'll be shipped here. It'll take about a month to get all of the fit and finish, small things installed, hose loaded, training for our people. But we're really excited about that, and that will help our WSRP score. The vehicle fleet scoring metrics was one of our lowest performing metrics in the WSRP report. So that's something that our board has decided to prioritize, which I'm really excited about, which I'm sure Dean will talk about. But yeah, improving our fleet is very important. We're not just getting it because we want a new toy. All of our fire engines, include all of them, don't meet the full point value of WSRP because they're so old. So it's really important to make sure we're updating our fleet on a regular basis.
And just a reminder of what WSRB stands for.
Sorry, thank you, Commissioner. WSRB is the Washington State Rating Bureau. That's what affects yours, mine, insurance rates for your home. So we don't want to be close to 10. It's a scale of 1 to 10. 10 is really bad, and 1 is really great. There's only one number 1 department in the state that I know, Seattle. We are a 5 in Port Ludlow. So we were trying really hard to get our score down to a 4, which I think is achievable, and we'll be messaging more about that in the next coming months. Current events, we had a very scary brush fire at the mill last week, and I want to thank our law enforcement partners at PUD for the successful outcome of them and the U.S. Navy They helped us as well. We successfully were able to keep that fire at about 1/3 of an acre without any injuries or property damage. So we're really fortunate that that was the outcome. Luckily, there was no wind, so that really worked in our favor. Any questions?
Do you know the cause of that fire?
Human.
So, Chief, I didn't understand the rating about how it affected our property insurance. So how can the average homeowner help you guys get that down?
Well, some of that information is in our annual report. We talk extensively about that. You can also support the district in informal and formal ways with letting the commissioners know what you want prioritized. And a lot of it is just being aware of why we do what we do and why we spend money where we spend it. They're look at things like water systems, which PUD controls in some areas, not here, but in some areas of the district. They look at emergency communications, Jefferson 911, which is really important. They also look at us, and I mentioned they look at our fleet, but they also look at our training. They look at our performance on incidents, emergency incidents. So there's a lot that goes into that. Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement that we could use lower home
I
insurance.
fully agree. I support the plan. Yes.
What happened to the people that were living at where the fire occurred on the road?
I don't know. We evacuated them
Repeat
during.
the question, I couldn't hear the
Oh, I'm
question.
sorry. The question was, what happened to the people that lived around the area that was burned by the mill? And temporarily, they were dislocated during the fire because we pulled all of them out of the forest, and I don't know up to the minute where they are right now. As I understand it, the county is working to try to clear some of those encampments out of the area, so it's no longer a threat. But I don't know if that's actually happened there. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah.
All right. Because I'm already making a mess out of this agenda, and I see a new face back there, we'll go to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. Did he say under?
Under sheriff.
So if you could introduce yourself, since I didn't have a chance to get your name.
Thank you for having me. I'm Brandon Shigaski. I'm the undersheriff at the sheriff's office. I'm stepping in today for Sheriff Burke Center's on a much needed vacation, so enjoying the weather in Montana. Some updates from us. I'll start off with some stats. I pulled some stats since January 1st until today. We've had 721 calls for service here in Port Ludlow. Of those, we've had 24 traffic collisions, 1 assault investigation, 4 burglary reports, 201 traffic stops. 16 of those were criminal in nature, whether they didn't have a driver's license or arrest, that kind of thing. And 8 of those, 201, were DUI investigations or arrests. We had 18 domestic violence investigations, 18 fraud reports, and 20 suspicious vehicle or persons. Just to touch on the encampment that Chief Black was just talking about, that is set for a removal, and I believe that's all taking place on July 14th. It's the 7th, they're going to be posting the area as being vacated. So, let's see, fireworks. I know it's probably a big topic for everyone. So the county has a ban on fireworks for next year, but this year, because of the fire danger level being at moderate, there is not a ban. So what that means for us is we take all the fireworks calls seriously. However, we have 5 buddies on for the whole county that night, and so we have to prioritize those, right, for like reckless discharge, that kind of thing. And if anything else falls in the middle of that, we're able to make contacts. If they're illegal fireworks, not consumer grade, that kind of thing. So that's what I have. Open the floor for some questions.
How about open fire?
Open fires, I believe, are still good in contained units, right? 36 inches.
I have a question about illegal fireworks. So if I hear something that sounds, an ME is really noisy, right? It's a
Right.
noisy percussion, very different than woo, those kinds of noises, right? Is that how I tell? Because to me, they're all offensive, and so
you know, even at the, like, consumer grade, those are the ones that you can get off of the reservation, that you can get at the stands that are usually, you know, in local intersections and whatnot. They do sell mortars, which do make a loud boom. They also give a large display in the sky, right? So those ones would be legal. However, like M80s that you talked about would not be legal.
But a mortar, you're saying is, but it still might be really noisy.
Sort of. So the consumer grade mortars are, yes. The mortars that you might, purchase on like the Indian reservation, those would definitely not be legal. Those have I don't know all the technical terms, but they have more grains of, I guess, powder, the explosive powder on the inside, and they put off a much larger display in the sky.
Thank you.
Of course.
I do have a question and an expression of appreciation. I was out this morning putting up the Friday market signs, and I saw two of our residents going through a teaching moment with one of your deputies. Maybe going more than the 25 posted limit. But somebody at one of the Friday markets came up to us and asked about the process for getting a speed study done on a local road. The road, Highland Drive, that goes up to the golf course. So they lives towards the top of the hill on that little S-curvy section. Is convinced people are going much faster than the speed limit. I know that's a perception thing at times when it's in your neighborhood. But wondering, what's the process for requesting some sort of speed study?
So those speed studies, they come from our county engineers, where they set like the rubber hoses down on the road, and they can do vehicle counts, vehicle traffic counts. Also, they check for speeds, and they, if there is a certain time of the day where there is higher speeds, they usually let us know, so that we can incorporate that with our patrols. Also, our speed trailer that we have, if you've seen it around the county, we only have one, so we try to put it in some of our hot zones. That has the ability to track speeds as well at time of day. So I can give you my card, and we can absolutely arrange to have that either the trailer or those, the engineers put out those trailers.
Thank you.
Of course.
Anybody else? Thanks, sir.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Okay, now we'll go back to the top of the agenda. Jameson.
All right, so Brandon actually reminded me of a really important thing. So fraud. Fraud calls probably come your way from things that are associated with calls that people think come from the PUD. And it usually looks like this: pay us with Walmart gift cards. And by 5 p.m. we're going to shut your power off. Now, maybe we don't like Walmart, we love Amazon. And we don't take gift cards. But the thing I really want to kind of impress on everybody is these calls happen, and because of AI agents, it's very, very likely we're just talking or hearing from a robot, and it's a very scary sounding robot. But the reality is anything that comes your direction from the utility, or claims to be from the utility, no. The reality is we will leave messages, we'll send voicemails, we'll send written notices if you are absent of the payment, and it's well in advance. We're not going to come out on the day of and say, today is the day, we're just going to pull it. We give you well in advance, but also any phone call that comes your way that sounds suspicious, just hang up. Like, they say it's from the PUD, and it is sounding very off. Walmart indicator. Hang up, because we want to make sure that you guys know that you are in control of the conversation. So hang that up, don't feel bad. If you hang up on a customer service agent, you're okay with it. Call us. Our main line is super easy to find on the website. Call us and start the conversation yourself, so that you know you're calling the right place. And you're gonna say, I'm so sorry I had to do that. You're freaking me out. And we appreciate that though, because it makes sure that everybody knows that they're in control of the conversation. That's really important. So, and then also means you won't get, showing up with Walmart gift cards and then have to report fraud to the sheriff. But I'm glad you brought that up, that these things do happen. On our side, rates. So rate changes, it's a slate of 4-year rate increases that was approved last year. So the first occurred last year. The second begins on July 5th, and you'll see that on billing. It's a very subtle change to kilowatt hour price, and you'll actually see the base rate technically drop this year. So it was going to be higher according to the rate schedule. However, because of changes to our low income program, the base rate has reduced this year, so from $35 to $32.90. Now, I say that because the changes to the low income program to keep us in compliance with the state will have a new line item that shows how much of every single service in this county goes towards supporting low income properties, low income budgets for billing. And that this year's $4. So it was $3.30 last year, and that was part of that full base rate at $35. And that's just the general operation of the utility. This year, of course, we're reducing the base rate, but we're adding in, we have to add in and show you the line item of $4. So technically, it's an increase of just about 70 cents on base rate. Yeah, those two together. But then the kilowatt hour charge is going up just marginally as well. So just know that that is occurring July 5th. It will start the billing process for this next year. The next thing, actually, Naval Magazine came up as part of the fire chief's update. They showed up for the assist. I actually just reached out and submitted a grant proposal for, it's called DCIP funding with the Navy. So this is a chance to look for infrastructure funding of $3.87 million to help us with a feeder line extension. Now, all this is kind of background, but it would actually help North Bay a ton during high load situations by adding resiliency and letting us kind of separate up the grid itself when a tree decides to misbehave on the lines. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I did the best grant write-up possible because this is the third time we've attempted it. First time for me, and the Navy was 100% backing us on this proposal, so fingers crossed. Next thing up, you're gonna see it over on Beaver Valley, and it's gonna be tree trimming. So crews will be going from Chimcum to all the way to 104, and throughout, starting in July 7th, you'll see this crew kind of making their way down Highway 19 Beaver Valley. So please drive carefully. They'll be on and around the way. And then finally, actually, are there folks from South Bay here? Like, okay, so there was an outage. That was a tree that misbehaved. And that tree, it was a milepost 2 from the highway. And yeah, that shows you what a feeder looks like. So when we had 771 customers out, that is a specific feeder on our network. So that's what we're trying to get resiliency with through the Navy grant. It's a similar size feeder where you can parcel out areas and reduce outage duration and overall area. So unfortunately, yeah, that tree had a bad day, but we got it resolved, I think, within an hour and a half, and we're back up and running. I did look at the stats for the Port Ludlow area, and we all remember 2022, if you were here, as being a really rough year for Port Ludlow. But since then, the stats, as far as how many outages annually, has been down a lot. If you take out that crazy end of the year, we've been doing pretty good with this feeder area. So, any questions? I covered a ton of ground there, so yeah.
You mentioned that there are AI scams. There are many, many AI scams. One which I have seen recently, which I don't know where this falls on the scam continuum, but it presented a rather detailed picture of dirty power and how that dirty power with the new measuring equipment, the new meters that have been installed, will result in a increase in the bill because it measures current that maybe had not been measured before with the old mechanical meters, and that results in what appears to be higher usage and therefore a higher bill. I guess my question to you would be, is there any, I'm an engineer, and therefore, I know kind of how things work. Is there any validity to that argument that the dirty power, the noise on power, is now measured as consumed energy, therefore justifying a higher bill?
So the dirty power is, so I guess going back to where our energy comes from, we have some of the cleanest power in the US, if not the cleanest. And the power that you were actually getting through a new AMI meter, the advanced meters we have on the house countywide, that is down to the, absolute micro kilowatt. Like, it is as accurate as it gets. So the power that we have on our grid is what BPA is providing us. We don't generate in county except for the PE, the solar kits that people have, and we have a bunch. Those are backfeeding after the house has consumed the energy it needs. It's backfeeding, my house included, the grid, and that is actually used by the neighbors around me. Now, it's not dirty power because that's solar energy itself. And then they bank those credits. So the power that we have here, though, if there's road dirty power, unfortunately, that's something that we don't even, isn't even on my radar. Because the energy that's coming into the meter, though, when you look at how our energy is arriving, we got 86% hydro, 86% clean energy total. So 76% hydro, I think it's 12.7% nuclear, and then EPA will give us this pie slice that's all parceled out into unspecified. Well, that's a mix of solar, wind, bio. There's all sorts of stuff that's mixed into it, but there is some dirty power where perhaps we have to go to the open market, where EPA had to purchase power during high use events. It's rare, but they do it sometimes, and that's where it falls into unspecified. I hope that feels it. That's kind of the energy that's coming into county and produced here.
Well, I appreciate your comments. In the meantime, I took my oscilloscope and hooked up the power line. I had said to myself,
To the power, like
to
the high voltage power?
no.
I wouldn't recommend that.
That is going to be for 110 volts.
Okay.
And I can see visibly no curve. So, the oscilloscope is still plugged in and hooked up, so I'm going to be looking at that.
If you do
I
spot,
like what I saw.
if you do see anything weird crop up, though, our engineering team would love to hear about it, because I don't know what that would be telling us, but it is stuff that level of interest in it is actually really useful for us, because you can spot things in the field that we might not see, because we're looking big picture.
It looked pretty good.
Yes. Any other, yeah?
This is just a personal question about my residence. I was walking by my meter and it says error. So I took a picture of the meter and sent it to PUD and didn't get a response, but do I need to be concerned about it?
If your meter
You said what?
error.
It says error.
Seen an error message now?
I mean, I never look at it. I was just pulling weeds and I'm,
So
well,
the new
maybe this is
meter-
important.
The new meters, it all depends. The new meters themselves project a read every 15 minutes. So we know it if your meter goes offline randomly. We would actually be alerted and the meter crew would be there probably within the day. So, not hearing back, unfortunately, I can't speak to that as far as quickly.
So it's no big deal? is what you're
No, because we would know if your house was offline
Okay.
and it would ping us. So,
I mean, it says it all the time.
yeah, and that could just be, reads are going out, so your
Okay.
bill is
Accurate?
calculated. It's calculated off of that, and you can always actually ask our customer service to set up a meter reader to come to your home and actually review it and test it.
Well, the bill's pretty good, so I think I'll just leave it
Perfect.
alone.
It's an interesting thing, the meter question has come up, because when we switched out our meter program just a year and a half ago, a really weird thing happened. So those old dial meters that everybody had, go out there as a kid and watch them spinning around. Well, those things over time, the mechanical meters would slow down. And it was just the nature of what these things do. And some people would have a meter for 40 years on their house. Well, when you swap it out with an insanely accurate digital meter, some people got a wake-up call and went, oh no, because their bill changed. And it changed in the sense that where all the neighbors were covering that cost. Like somebody had to recoup that cost of the power they were using, but it wasn't being read because of the old mechanical meter. So that's why we had to switch out. Plus it gives us time of use numbers. We can't see past the meter. We're not gonna like turn off the microwave. But we can see real-time data on our grid. It's so much better now to understand, A, when an outage occurs, and shut it off for an emergency if we need to. It's given us a lot of information that we didn't have before, so, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The feeder resiliency that you were speaking of, is that going to add redundancy or just harden the system?
Can you?
Bit of both.
Please.
So adding a feeder, or potentially adding a feeder, to the Chimacum/North Bay area, both resiliency and redundancy. So when a tree falls in Bay Road, the people of Chimacum do it. And it's like, it affects about 2,200 people from North Bay to Massachusetts to Maristone Island to part of Irondale are impacted by a single tree hitting the line on Oak Bay Road. What we can do with this is actually parse out and break that into about half, so we can keep Indian Island on. That's the purpose of the naval grant, is to reduce outage time there. We say, oh, we're supporting military community while also helping our neighbors. Now we keep Maristone Island on, they keep the base, Irondale, Chimacum, Urban Growth Center, in Hadlock, and then the crews can just jump into gear to resolve it, get North Bay back up sooner. So it gives us some options. Cool. Any other questions? Yeah.
Is there any indication from the state regulation that they will stop, what should I say? I'm all for solar, but I'm not approving of the state regulations that been in for a few years to store the power that somebody gets off of their home. They ought to be forced to put in batteries and don't charge us taxpayers to give that incentive for them to put in solar, because they can store it cheap. I mean, there's no cost. They get to store it from the summer to the winter, or from the day to the night.
So, I mean, it is state law. For us, we abide by the state law, which is we pay retail price back for solar customers who generate to the grid. Now, storing, we don't actually store, we just store the amount of kilowatts that's going out for everyone else to use. Now, interestingly, it does help us. I mean, it's a fraction of what we use on the major power purchases. If we look at the totals, it's like sub 2% or right at 2% generation. Like, it's not much, and it helps us though when we're planning to purchase power wholesale from EPA. We can say, well, 2% of it's covered by solar baked in county. That's cool, and we're able to kind of reduce the amount we need to purchase, which is great. However, yes, there is that rule, and our county's interesting because the state sets a rule, or our state law is interesting because they do set a rule to say up to a certain amount of power that we have to cover at retail cost, and after that, we're actually exceeding that number. It's up to our board to decide that if we wanted to not pay back beyond that, what the state said. Currently we do, because we want to incentivize people generating.
So there's no indication that there will be an end to that.
No, none that I've seen. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Diana, you are up.
Well, good afternoon. Gosh, it's summer and we're busy. So, first thing I want to talk about is the potholes that still a lot of vehicles that go up and down that private road just to avoid the four-way stop, which is causing that road to deteriorate. Unfortunately, since our private road, it's very expensive to repair the potholes. And at some point, we will come up with something that will deter traffic from barreling through that road between Paradise Bay and Oak Bay. But you may have noticed that the potholes have a little paint around them. We're working with, I think it's Shoal. We're working with a contractor to come in and take care of that. Unfortunately, right now they've been very busy. So even though we've identified it and we're gonna work with them, it's just time. So just try to miss them. It's pretty easy to miss them. They're pretty marked. And then the ones that are actually in the village center, just because of cost and because of people's availability, we're going to do those ourselves, and those will last for about a month, and then they'll chip out, which is what they do. Switching gears, well, still in village center, I guess. We're still working on the Falls Terrace permit. Right now, we're working on a boundary line adjustment, which seems to be complicated. No, it shouldn't be. But still moving forward with that project. I just can't give anybody any dates. And then talking about Olympic Water and Sewer, it's interesting listening about the meters. A number of years ago, we started replacing some of our meters with one electronic read. If we ever got to a large enough number, we might have moved to a monthly billing. But that's probably a good ways away. Each meter costs about $300, which doesn't sound like very many, but we need $1,700. So when you do that math, that's a big math. And so we've been replacing them as we can, plus it's labor, our team has to put them in the ground. But the new meters, what they're supposed to do is kind of what was talked about earlier was they're much better at measuring the water, although I haven't heard anybody say that they've seen some large differences when we put those in, but they also will leak detect and they will notify us. So that's really good if there's something going on. Now, it's not going to leak detect in your house. It will probably leak detect around the meter or a difference in something coming into the meter. But over time, we hope that we have that. Probably by the time we put the last one in, we'll be replacing the very first ones we put in. So it'll be like painting the bridge. We start over sometime. So that's continuing. I know that Jason has met with the presidents of the HOAs and talked about our back truck for hire. So he does a flyer out there. I believe there's flyers at the clubs. But that is something that it's a pretty expensive truck that we purchased, and we have crew that knows how to do it. So we're making that available. Annual backflow tests were due June 1st. We are now at July 1st. We have sent postcards, we have phone called, try to reach out in a number of different ways. We will have some shut-offs, but we're not going to do that until after July 4th, just to ensure that everybody has water if they're doing fireworks. But we've tried at least 3 or 4 times each person to try and get them to respond. And I don't have a final count, they're still coming in, but I think we're at still 20 to 30. That's a pretty big number. So we're hoping that over the weekend we'll get some, anybody who says they're doing a test, of course we wait. That's but they have to respond. And then we continue to work on the wastewater treatment plant upgrade. Right now we're about 90% done with the sewer system plan, and engineering drawings for the upgrade are 30%. By the end of the year, we hope to be at 80% of those drawings. Let's see what else is going on. Friday market, hopefully everyone's been going to it at the Village Center. It wasn't there last week, I think, because of the rain, but it's supposed to be there this week. I hear there's a new vendor coming in, which is great. On July 11th, which is next Saturday, there's live music at the Village Center starting at 5:30. There's a beer garden. I think the Mexican restaurant's gonna have tacos for sale, so that's a great event. The car club has started coming now, I don't know if anybody's seen it, but it'll come back on July 20th. That's at 5:30, it's a Monday, so they'll come every third Monday of the month for the summer, which is great. The Grappling Coffee drive-through is the one who was able to get the car makers, or the old cars there, which is really fun. And then, one big thing, which I hope, maybe we can get this out in an email, but the Inn's gonna do their second annual community open house on July 22nd. It's 3 to 5 p.m. They're gonna have light bites with Chef Kyle talking about food. They're gonna have discussion on the diverse beverage program with Ross, who's our food and beverage manager. We're gonna give you a peek behind the scenes if you ever wondered what a bedroom or a room looked like, or you wanna see some of the meeting space. And then we're gonna talk about, upcoming events, seasonal specials, so on. But if you sign up for the newsletter, we're gonna give you a raffle. In the raffle, you could win an overnight stay in a chef-prepared farm-to-table dinner for two, which would be super nice. So that's a big date. And then July 14th is our wine tasting. It's gonna be Dossier. Dossier is a wonderful winery out of Walla Walla, and Sydney Rice, old Seahawk player, is one of the owners, and so they'll be here pouring, and then they'll also do our August wine dinner. Happy hours going on 4 to 6 every day. It's great. Farm dinner's on Wednesday, so if you walk into the dining room, you'll see a map, and the map basically says that we source from our farms within 20 miles. If you go to a farm to fork table, ask them how far away their farms are. So we have this amazing Chimicum Valley, and we've taken advantage of that and worked with those farmers for, I think Dan's been working with them for 15, 16 years, so it's been amazing. Anyways, it's a great dinner. It's a 3 course and it's $49. Golf course, Gun House tournament. I don't know if anybody plays in that. That's coming up. That's a wonderful tournament. Spark Golf League is every Thursday. You can just drop by. You don't have to play every Thursday. You can just drop by. And then, I don't know if anybody saw, but in the middle of June, there was the Twilight Race Series at the Marina. That's going to happen again on July 9th and July 23rd. That was really pretty down at Burner Point. That's a great event to come out for. Burner Point, we did some, we replaced the, Ludlow Village Master technically replaced it, but we replaced the irrigation, and they improved the sod and everything, so getting it ready for, one, there were some holes that had to be taken care of, so safety for everybody, and then also there's groups that go out there as well as there's some weddings that will be occurring this summer. I think, pizza restaurant is closed. It's been a struggle for that, and I know that he's tried some things and then stopped some things and then started some things, and it's just been a struggle. So we're looking for a new restaurant or business. I've actually talked to 2, so there might be some options for some additional food in there. But if anybody knows of anybody that is interested, let me know. And that's all I have unless there's questions.
Can you send me the information about the June 11th meeting?
Yes, I can. I'll get you that.
And also the open house, what was that date? The open house,
July 22nd.
22nd?
That one was in the newsletter. I don't remember seeing anything. Who's putting that on? Read it?
I don't know. John L. Scott is with, I think, the businesses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the same one they did last year. I think you guys were involved in it last
I'm
year.
sure. I just heard nothing about it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, she'd probably be open to it. Just contact Jane Jensen.
Yeah, no, so around.
Yeah, go sell her. I think she'd be fine with it.
She is,
Yeah, right?
we need to get on that.
Yeah, because it's next Saturday.
It's a week from the
Yeah, it's, right.
It's a week from the 4th.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any other questions for Diana while she's standing here? start with LMC and Joe.
Thank you. Summertime events are occurring. The ice cream social was last week when it was nice weather for ice cream. About 70 members and their guests came and enjoyed. Music on the Lawn is on July 23rd. There's a sign up for if you're going to participate in the hot dog and stuff that are being served. The accessibility work continues, vendors, excuse me, and contractors are being contacted. It's slow, but permits are moving along. So we hope to see that done within the next year. The Firewise group affiliated with the DNR, and they advise our greenfield work. They're working to reduce wildfire risk by reducing low limbs and brush that's right up against that. Even though, excuse me, the fire risk is only at a 2, it's still quite dry, and a windy day and a careless human being will be a big problem. So, the folks continue to work hard on that, and that's about all I have.
Thank you, Joan. Any LMC questions from the room? All right, we will move on to SBCA and Carolyn.
Okay, so, we've been busy at SBCA. We had a great barbecue in June. We had 3 grill masters, and we had Still Got It band, and they really still got it. They were great. And we had probably close to 80 folks who came, and that was really wonderful. New landscaping has gone into the front, and it's looking really great. We've got a couple little areas that still need to be taken care of. There's sapling and arborvitae, and there's an area of columbine that looks pretty for about a day, and then it starts looking rainy and tangy, so that's next. Tomorrow's our pancake breakfast, and it's the Bayside Housing that we are fundraising for. So all those who would like to come, sure to come and find a SBCA person who can be your friend and enjoy. You know, we call it pancake breakfast, but they're more than pancakes. So we say, well, I don't make pancakes. So we say, oh my gosh, we've got scrambled eggs, we've got, bacon, sausage, fruit, juices, coffee. So it's really a wonderful event, and it's a great way to support the different groups in our community. Our annual meeting is coming up July 15th, and we're prepping for that. And we always have a really wonderful members reception afterwards. Upcoming stuff for us at the Bay Club, they're going to do some resurfacing of asphalt somewhere in August, and it'll be a pickle. It'll take a couple weeks, but there'll be lots of notice for that. In September, we've got Gord Hansen coming, and he is a nationally and internationally known naturalist. He's written quite a few books, and he's actually first coming to the Port Hadlock Library, and then he's going to come and chat with our group, and that's open to South Bay and North Bay folks. So that's great. And then in September, we'll have another band. This time we'll have Budapest West and some food type thing that'll go with that. So a lot of kind of interesting, fun things on our plate.
Thank you, Carolyn. So we will move into the board business section of the program, putting the board in the board meeting. First thing we're going to do is talk about the minutes from the last board meeting, which was distributed to everybody via email.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion around those minutes? Sorry, jotting down. Colleen's not here. Okay, hearing no discussion, we will take a vote. All those in favor of approving the June 4th BOD meeting minutes?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. All right, I will pass it off to Gary for the treasurer's report.
Okay, everybody likes to talk about money. So, there's just some things I want to add. Very simply, we started the month off just over $14,000 cash on hand. We're going to end, we did end yesterday, or the 30th, at just over 13.3 for the month. There's some things I want to point out about this, and if you don't know, I put the monthly financials on the table when you walk in. You are welcome to have a copy of it, or if you want to talk about money, and then obviously please give me an email or a call. One of the things I wanted to point out was that we are now, because I just did some down and dirty, we're at the end of our fiscal year. We have one quarter left, and that's July, August, September, and we start our new fiscal year in October. And just to note that at the end of June, we are at 79% of our budgeted expenses. So with that last quarter coming in, I expect us to get very, very close to that budgeted expense number, which makes me very happy. There were some unbudgeted expenses that crept in, but there were also some unexpected revenue that crept in. So it sort of balanced each other out. But that's it for the financials, and then I'm going to come back in later and talk about some other stuff.
Thank you, Gary. Any questions from the audience regarding financials? Okay, I will now hand it right back to Gary for administration as the liaison, and he and Tam will talk a little bit about election season and donor program.
So Tam is in the audience, and she asked me if I'd step in as the board liaison to talk about this stuff. So first of all, it is our election season. We have 2 board members who are running again to stay on the board. We have a third community member who has put their hat in the ring, which we're very, very happy about. You should see, Tam, correct me if I'm wrong, you should see all of the candidates who are running in the September issue of the Port Ludlow Voice. Is that correct, Tam?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And the voting will also, you'll also get your ballots. And I believe that we changed it last year, and you get a postcard that your household is assigned a number, and you'll go to the link and you'll put in your number and you'll vote for those candidates you'd like to see added to the council. So it's a very slick process now, and it's also saved us a lot of money, which again makes me happy. The administration committee has been working on the policies and procedures manual, and they've been doing an incredible job. And it's an arduous task, and they've taken it on, and they still smile at the end of every meeting. So what they have asked us to do at this point, they're making a recommendation that there's an update for the replacement language for the section 4.6 on donation management. And we all worked hard on this, and what this does is actually explains out for the first time we have taken the donations and the donation pool and tiered it. So there are 3 different tiers that we're going to recognize, and this language is just sort of how we manage that donation process. I took in this article, Tam, to the Finance and Fundraising Committee yesterday, and they have some changes, very small tweaks they would like to make. I'm going to pass this around so that you know what those were. Jeff, thanks. And it was to the second paragraph of 4.6 was to remove the last sentence of the second paragraph and replace it with all donors will remain anonymous unless the Port Ludlow Village Council has given express permission to acknowledge them publicly. Also, in the next one sentence, at the end of that section, I read, donation shall be organized into 4 tiers corresponding to the value of the gift. The Finance and Fundraising Committee actually wanted to end that with, donation shall be organized into 4 tiers corresponding to value. So those are the changes that they want. They're very minimal, but I think they're probably good. So what I need now is from the floor a motion that we accept what the Administration Committee has submitted to us as amended by the Finance and Fundraising Committee. Can I get a second?
Jones said.
All right. Is there any discussion about what's been in front of you? No? Okay. So I'd like to call for the vote, please. All in favor? All opposed? Thank you very much.
I think the only thing I would add to that discussion is that we have 3 prospective board candidates, and they all happen to be sitting in the same room. And there might be a 4th. Somebody else was going to attend, it might be, but I haven't met him yet, so I don't know if he's here. I'm guessing. But anyway, Nelson, Christie, and Caroline are all 3 considering running, so give them a little nudge when you see them on the way out. Okay, we're going to move on to communications. And the Port Ludlow Connects update was the first one on the list, and I wrote this before I realized Pauline was coming. Tam, do you have a super high-level quick update from Port Ludlow Connects, or is it enough to say it's well on its way, it's under control, and it's going to be a great event?
It's well on its way. We've got the number of exhibitors that we can have this year is 60, and we have 1 space left. So we've had great response from people that are interested in being an exhibitor. We have not had as great a response as those that are willing to volunteer for the team to run Port Ludlow Connects. And we're working with our own volunteer coordinator, Caroline Meyer, to get some other volunteers. I'm also contacting volunteers that did this 2 years ago and said, hey, this was fun, call me again. So I'm going to be contacting them. Right now, we only have 18 volunteers from the exhibitors team, and so we're working on that. The graphic designs are going great. We've got some enormous banners we're going to put up instead of small signs that people drive by and say, what was that? And have no idea what they just read. So we're making it big so everybody can see it. We won't have as many around the village, but we'll have them in very good spots. We're doing a lot of publicity. Kendra is our publicity coordinator, and she's taking care of social media and voice. And let's see, we're also collecting raffle prizes. We're getting quite a few, and it's going to be a great raffle. You get a free raffle ticket. We do not sell these raffle tickets. You get free raffle tickets if you get your passport signed by 16 exhibitors, and you bring that back to the front desk and we give you a raffle ticket. We invite new people that have lived here in Port Ludlow less than 2 years. We invite them to bring their invitation, postcard invitation, and they get a free raffle ticket, a second one, just as a welcome. The exhibitors and the volunteers also get a raffle ticket. So we want everybody to have a chance to be part of this. And that's about it.
Thank you, Cam. For those who couldn't hear, it's going well, except we're short on volunteers. So if you continue to struggle with volunteers, make sure that somebody reaches out to me and I'll get an e-blast out that's targeted to that. I think Caroline's reached out to our volunteer pool, but we can expand those ripples a little bit if we want to.
I think we're gonna do fine. It's just that, it's a couple of months away, we've got time, but it's time for us to get things kind of nailed down.
Okay, also in communications, we did 4 roadside cleanup events, we had a total of 54 hours of volunteer hours. We dumped 340 pounds of garbage at the dump. And we took some time to scrub the two big wooden Port Ludlow signs as well. So they are now blue and white again and shiny and clean and awesome. We also held a candidate forum last week, on Thursday, a week ago today. And we filled this room. There were probably 80 people here. All 4 candidates for the District 3 County Commissioner seats were here. I thought they were all great, well-spoken candidates and did a great job. And people have tough choices to make for the August 4th primary. 2 of them will go forward to the general election in November. And I think we'll probably end up holding a second candidate forum where we're doing 2 more, probably more of a debate format. And keep your eyes open for that. And please come. I think that there was at one point, League of Women Voters was going to do a candidate forum here on the 7th of July, and it's no longer on the calendar here. So I'm wondering if they canceled it because we did so well, because we had a great turn. I'm not sure, or maybe they moved it and it's not here, but that's that. So I will now pass it off to Howard for items 4 and 5, the annual meeting planning and the volunteer recognition stuff. Take it away, Howard.
All right, thank you. Is this on? Hello? Okay. Well, we have our scheduled annual meeting. It'll be on October 1st at the Day Club Auditorium from 3 p.m. now to 6 p.m. We were able to extend our hours, which was really great. Last time we had to get out of there early. Okay, sorry. We also, I have a draft agenda that is still a working document, so I don't need to share it now. I did share it with the board. And Jeff had mentioned that I forgot to put admin in there, so I'm gonna make sure I do that and whatever else. I'm gonna work closely with Gary on this, because he's offered to help with that. We also have a $2,000 budget, and I did get a hold of Tam to see what the budget was, well, how we spent that money last year, and I did get information from her that would be helpful. So that's really all I have to say on the annual meeting. By next month, my hope is to have the agenda. Then one last thing that I am going to, with refreshments, in truth, I asked, my wife was a caterer for many years, whether she'll help me or not, I don't know. But I did ask her if she'll help me report back once I know. So that takes care of that. In regards to the t-shirts, this has been a bit of a process. But I believe we're there. We had 2 bids, that really 3 bids, but one that was so out of the park I didn't even consider it. One was from Tuna Graphics, which is in Hollistow, but then I was asked to check with online, and it turned out it was a much better deal. So at this point, we have $683.40 bid from Rush Order. I'm going on right now, but in anything, and then the other bid was really for $858.82. So if you go by the cost of the bid and the shortness of the delivery, once we order 9 to 12 days, we should get free delivery on this. Now, the only thing on this particular bid from Rush, whatever the last name is there's no sales tax additional on there. Now, whether what you go to check out, there's a potential of 9.2% sales tax that we have. So that 683 can grow by another $60 plus $63 somewhere in there. And then as far as colors go, small group decided blue. And I was asked to put together a document, which I'm rudimentary at. We showed Carolina blue, sapphire, antique workshop, I believe, approved, or by email, $750. But Jeff, I believe, wanted to take it to the board and have them approve that.
Yeah, it's an unbudgeted expense, so we have to get board approval to do it, yeah.
Absolutely. So with that, really, once we get that approval, once we get the color down, we'll be running from small all the way to 3XL. So we're looking after you, whatever your size. Up to that. There is a 4XL, but I don't think. The volunteers, excuse me, I didn't explain that. We want to put out T-shirts for all of our volunteers. So whether it's trash collection, whether it's any of the events we do, that we're identifying. And it's really brand, in my mind anyway, is branding our work and letting people know who's out there doing that. So Jeff, I'll let you take it from there on the vote.
Okay, yeah, we 6 of the 9 have weighed in on the colors, and while there is no obvious winner yet, there is an obvious loser in the name. So I asked everybody to rank them from 1 to 4, and 1 being the best, so the lowest number is gonna be the winner. And with 6 votes, 22 votes have been for navy blue, which means almost everybody's voted that as number 4. So navy blue is out. But the other 3 are within 1 vote. So if you have not yet, I did send an email with a link to the board. Go in and vote. Not that it's that critical. So is there a motion on the floor to approve up to $750 for volunteer recognition T-shirts?
Well, I'll make the motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve $750 for the purchase of 51 T-shirts, volunteer T-shirts.
Second.
Who's the second?
Tracy.
Any further discussion? Susie. So on the front left breast pocket, there's not a pocket, but where a pocket would be, it just has the square PLBC logo, and on the back it says volunteer Port Ludlow Village Council. And it's, as we've been out at the Friday market and the yard sale and working alongside roads, we thought it would be good to not only identify who we are out there doing that work, but give people something for coming out and spending time helping us out and wearing around town, and people are gonna say, oh, that's cool, I'm gonna go volunteer, because I want a t-shirt.
Yeah.
That's the hope. Any other questions or discussion points? No. So, the motion that has been put on the floor and approved, or seconded, is that we authorize up to $750 for Howard to go out and get some T-shirts made. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Quick update on the emergency council, the emergency committee, which I am the liaison for. We are still waiting feedback from the Jefferson County Department of Emergency Management on the community emergency plan. Gary and I met with them a couple of months ago now, and they've got some ideas and some feedback that they were going to write up and send them to us, so we didn't take a lot of notes, and we haven't seen those yet, so I will pester them again. The committee has reached an MOU with the community church to centralize all of the radio operations up there, emergency radio operations there, and are in the process of finalizing that. I think they're down to the point where they have to find a locking cabinet to put the equipment in, and then they're gonna move everything in and be on their way. And they participated just this past weekend in the All-County Preparedness Day along with the fire department, and the sheriff's office was there, but PUD was there, and they did a great thing. So I'm gonna pass it off to Gary again for finance and fundraising.
Yeah, I'm back. So the finance and fundraising committee met yesterday, and there's a board sort of charter that they have to test that they were given, and they need to tackle. First, just to report, the raffle sales are to date $650. So considering we had very, very little overhead on this, it's kind of nice that we're bringing in some capital there. I want to remind everybody, if you're not in the finance and fundraising committee, now is the time that we're starting to work on the 26-27 budget. And if you have input into the 26-27 budget, I need to have it no later than mid-September. Because as I told other people who were there, if you don't give me your information, I'll make it up for you, and you probably aren't going to like what I so please get that information into me, and you will get reminders in the next couple of months that's due. I also want to remind everybody that on 9/11/26, we are having a donor appreciation event to say thank you to the people who support us, not only with their good thoughts, but also financially. So this is an invitation-only event. If you gave money to us at any point during the last year or in the last quarter of the previous year, you will be getting an invitation from us to please attend that event, so we can say thank you properly. I think, sir, that's all I got.
Thank you. We are down to trails, who didn't, they haven't had their meeting yet. This next week, one of those rare times where their monthly meeting comes after the board meeting, so there's not a ton to report there. But I do want to circle back to this ribbon cutting that's happening Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Parking and early gathering at the bridge deck, and we're going to walk across the street and do a ribbon cutting, and then a tour of that new short section, the connector trail. They've got a golden spike ceremony planned for the point where the two trail teams met in the middle as they're coming from the north and the south. And then Tim is also going to do a little presentation on the cemetery. And of course, it's, as I said earlier, it's morphed into a celebration of Larry and a memorial for Larry. And they very quickly and appropriately decided to change the name of this trail from the Oak Bay Trail to the Larry G. Scott Memorial Trail. And we will be celebrating that as well. But the one thing we do need to do on trails is that Trails internally has appointed Jerry Keck, or asked us to appoint Jerry Keck as their new chair, which needs to be approved by the board. So I would entertain a motion to that effect.
Yes, go ahead. I would like to nominate Jerry Keck as the new chair of Trails.
Carol, second.
Any discussion around that issue? Again, this is already been discussed, and this was the plan for October when Larry was planning to retire from Trails anyway. But we should have discussion, and discussion needs to be had. Hearing none. All those in favor of appointing Jerry Keck as the chair for the Trails Committee?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I'm going to pass this off to Howard for a utilities update.
I have a question.
Yes,
Can you tell me how, I didn't know where the 3 cedars were. I read the newsletter that came out, so I'm trying to figure out how long that walk would be, and is it very, I understand there's some problems, you know, there's a little bit of hilliness around the cemetery and stuff, but.
it is, it's roughly halfway between the cemetery and Walkerway, maybe a little bit closer to to the cemetery than Walkerway, but there is an up and a down and an up again to get to it.
So your whole walk is just Walkerway basically to the cemetery?
That's the entirety of the walk,
Okay.
with a chance to do a little ceremony and
Of
some
course.
speaking at the three seaters, and then, more speaking and a presentation at the cemetery, which if you haven't been out to the cemetery recently, the work Tim has done up there is amazing. It is a really cool space right now.
Thank you for clarifying, that was my question.
And I'm gonna talk to them again today or tomorrow probably, because there are gonna be some people who probably can't get there, and I don't know if they really, you know, initially we thought maybe 10 or 15 people would show up to this event, and now I think it's gonna
Very
be
different.
three digits, yeah. There may have to be some game time decisions made about where all the speaking is taking place. I know they've got some people lined up in New very well who want to speak. But we'll see how it plays out.
Okay,
But I do think it's gonna be, I hope it's going to be very well taken.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Howard?
Okay. Well, utilities committee met, third, at the Bay Club. By the way, you're all black, the fourth Tuesday, right? Fourth Tuesday of every month at the Bay Club, in the conference room is where we meet. So, this month's meeting, we had myself, Jason White from Owsley, Alan Kiesler, and Martin. And we recapped some of the questions that Alan Kiesler had a number of questions for Owsley, and for Jason to really respond to, which he did. And then we moved on from that conversation. The main thrust really of the meeting, from my point of view, was posing to this group what we should be taking ownership of and how should we go about that work. And from that, I came up with, I came up with it after the conversation, July, August, September, and October's meetings. So in July, we're going to take on maritime concerns, the ecology of our marine environment. I'm not an expert in any of this, but I can get people to come to the room. So that's, and hopefully others will come to the room as well. So I did reach out to Corey Ward, who is the harbor master. She will attend. And then I reached out, Jeff had given me some information. I reached out to the yacht club to, I want to say Marguerite, what, is that right? Oh, Marguerite Hunt. And she has not responded yet, but I did send her off an email saying that we'd love to have you as well. So that will be a discussion, and I haven't put together an agenda, but I will before that meeting, and we'll go back to taking better. I took the notes myself. I didn't use AI because I already got in trouble using it once for myself. I don't want to do that again. So, so in August, we're going to have Owsley again at the table preparing for their September annual Owsley Town Hall. And we'll talk about questions that the community has at the meeting that we'd like Jason to respond to. In September, we're going to dedicate the meeting to PUD updates and a discussion about fiber optics and whatever else really that Jameson would like to gain more public awareness of, I guess we could say. In October, we want to take on recycling alternatives conversation. And I don't need to get into too much depth on that, but styrofoam is one which Jeff has been party to, and others. Then there's a question with glass, if there was anything we can do. And it's worth the conversation. There's ways in which we can do a better job with recycling. So that's the agenda going forward, at least through October. Thank you.
Questions, comments? Okay. We are going to move on to the raffle drawing. Our summer raffle's ongoing, and as Gary said, we sold 100 and some tickets for $650. And we are doing the drawing at every board meeting. Can you do it over here in front of the camera, though?
Nelson, do me a favor, don't go, put your hand in here, I'll have one ticket.
I think that's
Only one.
Okay.
Judy Cocchiarella, of Dogleg Lane, here in Port Ludlow. And I'll be giving her a call tomorrow. She won the Small Sound Bank Community Gift Basket. And next month's drawing is, if I'm not mistaken, the Arts and Entertainment Basket, which is a really nice one. So if you haven't bought your raffle tickets, you might want to.
2 tickets to an LDP show, 2 tickets to a PLPH show.
Gift certificates to restaurants.
Gift certificates to restaurants.
Yeah, it's a good day package.
Okay, that is it for the formal part of the agenda, and we will reach out now for audience comments, questions,
Yeah, can I make a note?
thoughts. You're not in the audience.
I know.
Okay.
If you like vegan food, there is free vegan food at the Tri-Area Community Center in Chimacum. 3 meals a day, and it's free. I mean, it's amazing. So, and it's until July 4th. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Are you pointing to something?
No, there's the helicopter.
Oh.
Relatively low. It's got attention.
Am I missing something?
You're being filmed from behind.
A question over here.
Well, it's not necessarily a question. This is the first time I've ever been in a meeting of this sort and so forth. I live in Woodbridge Village. And recently I've been thinking that I'm underemployed. And some kind of a volunteer thing might be,
Sign up.
the day, and I have experienced within the last couple of weeks a nearly closed trail around Teal Lake, and I thought, gee, I know there are people that are doing this. I can do it. So what's the next step? How is it that we do about it?
Well, it depends what you want to do. If you'd like to sit up here with us and be with the cool kids, we can get you on board. But you could, from here, there are committees, and from committees, there are volunteer positions. We can talk afterwards about the various committees we have. And I didn't bring brochures today, of course. But I can point you towards our webpage, and we will find a place for you, I guarantee.
You can also always talk to our volunteer coordinator, who is
She's
sitting
in
right
the
here in
audience
the stretch
today.
square, and she will find a spot for you at any given time.
And you get a t-shirt.
Yeah, and you'll get a t-shirt.
You get a t-shirt. No, he wants to be incognito.
Any other comments or questions? Jeannie, please.
Yeah, I just have a comment. I want to thank this board and all you people that do this work for us as volunteers. This is such important work, and I will be eternally grateful for all that you're doing, and for people who want to run to help us well. I just want to acknowledge that. I don't think I say it enough, but
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, if that is it, then it's Joan's turn to make a motion.
I move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Carol.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thanks for being here.
Oh.